Every election cycle, politicians promise to support small farmers. Meanwhile, regenerative farmers like Tony Serrano, who understands soil health better than any Washington bureaucrat, can't get funding because politicians don't understand the first thing about farming. But when Tony needed $1.5 million to expand his operation, other farmers and mission driven professionals funded him in 4 hours. This is what happens when expertise recognizes expertise, and why farmers need to stop waiting for politicians. Here's what politicians don't tell you about agricultural policy. They promise farm bills and subsidies while having zero understanding of what actually happens on a farm. They see organic certification as a nice marketing term. Farmers know it represents premium pricing, customer loyalty, and reduces chemical input costs. Politicians talk about sustainable practices as feel good policy. Agricultural professionals understand that regenerative farming builds soil health that increases yields year after year while reducing fertilizer dependency. They debate climate change impacts on agriculture in air conditioned conference rooms. Farmers are living those impacts daily, dealing with unpredictable weather, soil degradation, and water scarcity. This is the fundamental problem. Politicians are making policies about industries they don't understand, while the people with actual expertise wait for permission to solve problems they already know how to fix. Let me tell you about Tony Serrano, because his story shows you what happens when agricultural expertise gets the resources it deserves. Tony's story starts with tragedy. At age 3, he was brought to work in California strawberry fields that were regularly sprayed with toxic chemicals. He nearly died twice from insecticide poisoning before he was old enough for school. When Tony became a farmer himself, he made a decision that most politicians would call economically risky, but that agricultural professionals immediately recognize as brilliant strategy. Tony decided the chemicals that nearly killed him would have no part in his operation. Instead, he would create what he calls a thriving, healthy ecosystem that produces healthy food, creates healthy farmers, and supports healthy community. Today, Tony's Jazz Family Farms maintains USDA organic, regenerative organic, fair trade, and food safety certifications across 400 acres. But here's what politicians miss and farmers immediately understand. This isn't environmental activism. It's superior business strategy. Regenerative practices reduce input costs, build soil health that lasts decades, command premium pricing, and create customer loyalty that industrial agriculture can't match. Bankers are no better than politicians. Any farmer looking at Tony's operation would immediately understand the financial intelligence behind these decisions. But try explaining that to a bank loan officer who's never touched soil. So when Tony needed $1.5 million to expand his regenerative operation, he didn't waste time with traditional banks who would spend months analyzing spreadsheets they don't understand. He went to a platform where agricultural professionals and mission-driven investors could evaluate his operation based on actual farming intelligence. I put $100 into Tony's loan as part of that $1.5 million raise. But here's what blew my mind. The loan funded in 4 hours. 4 hours, 1.5 million. While politicians spend years debating agricultural policy and banks spend months analyzing numbers that don't tell the real story. You know why that happened? Because agricultural expertise recognized agricultural excellence. The people funding Tony's loan weren't Wall Street analysts guessing about farming. They were farmers, agricultural professionals, and mission-driven investors who immediately understood the value of what Tony was building. They saw soil health as economic resilience. They recognized regenerative practices as competitive advantages. They understood that Tony's certifications weren't just paperwork, they were proof of premium market positioning. This is what happens when you stop waiting for politicians and bankers and start leveraging the professional expertise that already exists in your industry. Now, if you're not a farmer, you might be thinking, oh, this is interesting, Paul, but what does this have to do with me? Everything. Because the same pattern exists in every single industry. During my year of daily investing, I saw healthcare professionals immediately recognize which medical innovations would actually work in clinical settings, while venture capitalists funded flashy technology that ignored basic workflow realities. I watched teachers spot education solutions that addressed real classroom needs, while Silicon Valley investors threw money at apps that fundamentally misunderstood how learning actually happens. I saw engineers identify clean energy projects with genuine technical viability, while traditional investors got excited about concepts that violated basic physics. Your professional expertise isn't just your job. It's investment intelligence that beats both political promises and Wall Street algorithms. Politicians make policies about your industry without understanding it. Wall Street analysts evaluate opportunities in your field using generic financial models that miss the real drivers of success. But you understand how your industry actually works. You know what problems need solving and which solutions will succeed or fail. You can spot authentic innovation versus marketing hype in seconds. This is why mission driven professionals need to stop waiting for politicians and start funding solutions directly. Here's what politicians and Wall Street don't want you to understand: you don't need their permission to create change. While politicians debate agricultural policy, farmers are funding each other's regenerative projects. While venture capitalists guess about healthcare needs, nurses and doctors are backing medical innovations they know will work. While legislators argue about education funding, teachers are investing in classroom solutions that actually help students learn. The revolution isn't waiting for the next election cycle. It's happening every time professionals like you recognize expertise in your field and fund it directly. Tony's farm got $1.5 million in 4 hours, not because politicians finally understood agriculture, but because agricultural professionals stopped waiting for political solutions. This is how systems actually change. Not through politicians making promises they don't understand how to keep, but through professionals using their expertise to fund the solutions they already know work. So here's my challenge to you. Stop putting your change-making power into political outcomes you can't control. Your professional expertise is more valuable than any politician's promises or Wall Street analyst's generic advice. Start recognizing that your daily work gives you investment intelligence that beats both political dependency and financial gatekeeping. If you're ready to learn to leverage your professional expertise beyond just your job, how to use it as investment intelligence that creates systemic change, I've created the Crowd Capital Blueprint for mission-driven professionals exactly like you. Link in the description, because the world doesn't need you to wait for politicians who don't understand your industry. The world needs you to fund the solutions you already know work. Next week, I'll show you why engineers should stop waiting for politicians to fund medical innovation, and how nurses and doctors are already doing it themselves. Subscribe if this resonates, and remember, your expertise is power. Use it.